if you have sufficient money to bring adaptions into the house and maybe additional care. So in Ontario, the government provides some free care.
Hello, I'm Dan Richards. Welcome to Money Insights. My guest today is Mary Ellen Tomlinson, founder and president of Senior Care Options. This is part of a series of conversations that Mary Ellen and I are having on issues related to elder care. Mary Ellen, today we're going to be talking about the range of housing options that are available for seniors who perhaps are at the point that they need some help. So let me lay out what's probably a not atypical scenario. Let's take a situation where my mom's 80, my dad's passed away, and my mom's basically healthy, living in the family house that we grew up in, but perhaps has started running into some health issues. What are the kinds of options in terms of housing at that point?
Basically, money is a big decider on this. If you have sufficient money to bring adaptions into the house and maybe additional care. So in Ontario, the government provides some free care, and then you can supplement that with private care. But the adaptions that you need in the house are the things that cost money, and those things the government does not pay for.
So what are we talking about when you talk about adaptions?
Well, let's say a bathtub in order to put a bath bench or grab bars. Okay, those are the immediate ones. Then maybe if your mom is having a hard time getting up and down from her chair, she might put in a postural pole, or the very expensive, those little tip chairs that look like lazy boys, that they have those that can sort of tip you up and sort of almost get you standing on your feet before you actually have to do any of that yourself. That chair is actually a little bit expensive, but those are kind of some of the adaptions that you can do. If it's a two-story home, you can put in an elevator that goes up and down the stairs. That elevator should not be used unless there's somebody with them. It's not safe to be used unless they have somebody with them.
So one option, if the finances permit it, is to make change within the home. What are some of the other options that people might consider in that situation?
Well, they might like to go into a retirement home, because those retirement homes provide you with 2 meals a day. You can have a breakfast in your room, or you can have your breakfast served to you. And you don't have to worry about shoveling snow or cutting grass. You don't have to worry about stairs. You don't have to worry about any of those little day-to-day things that can be really quite tiring for an older person.
So is a retirement home where most people at that age and stage would start in terms of kind of moving out of their home?
That's the big step that's happening. That's the trend that's happening today. They are selling their home, moving into a retirement home.
And in that retirement home, I might have, a one-room apartment kind of setup?
Yes, it's usually a small bedroom with a sitting room, and maybe part of the sitting room would have a little kitchen area. That would be for a microwave, a refrigerator, a kettle, so that you can start your own breakfast, or you can make your afternoon tea if they're. But usually it's the breakfast that they do, because in the retirement homes they do a lot to get the people out of their small apartment or apartment-style living space and into a more social area. So they'll have teas downstairs and lunches and things like that.
And so if I'm in that retirement home, at what point do I have to look at some other options beyond that?
Well, the retirement homes are really adjusting to the changing needs of the elderly. It used to be that you were in a retirement home, you had to be very active and independent. Now what they're doing is saying, we'll offer you services to help you bathe, we'll supervise your meds, we'll do all sorts of things like that. That's one step up, and still remaining in the retirement homes. Very sophisticated retirement homes are now having what they call memory floors. Those are floors that are secure, so the person cannot get off the floor unless they're accompanied. That's for people who have dementia and maybe other cognitive problems that they can't manage life on their own.
But it sounds like retirement homes can perhaps provide some level of care, but a limited level of care.
Well, not only is it a little limited, because not all retirement homes want to get into that level of care, but it's a care that's dependent on cost. Every time you increase your level of care in the retirement home, there's a cost, an hourly or half an hourly fee for the service that you're getting. So that makes a bit of difference for your finances.
So let's suppose I'm at a point where a retirement home says we can't accommodate you any longer in terms of the level of care that you need.
Yes.
What comes next?
Well, depending on how much care you need and how little money you have, you might go into assisted living where they give you a lot of help and it's not so much based on finances. Or you'll go into a long-term care facility, and the long-term care facilities are governed by the province. So it's in Ontario, it's the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care licensing and oversees them. That's for people who have really, really high health care needs or very extreme cognitive impairment.
So when we talk about long-term care, are we talking about what people used to call nursing homes? Is
Yes.
that what we're referring to?
The province in Ontario doesn't like that term anymore. They're trying to be more friendly. I don't really think that long-term care facility is a particularly friendly term, so they're now looking for another term. So who knows what it's going to be in 2 years' time. But for legal purposes, it's Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care Facility.
So just to kind of provide kind of a bit of a hierarchy here, people living at home, they may be able to adapt that home to their needs, finances permitting. But beyond that, you've got the retirement home option. Next comes the assisted living, and finally the long-term care option, depending on people's situation and needs.
That's right, Dan. That's the way it goes.
Mary Ellen, thank you very much.
You're welcome.